Snow Elves are one of the coolest and most elusive races found in Elder Scrolls. In fact, you only ever meet two in Skyrim, one of which is a vampire and the other is his uninfected brother, who is at least 4,000 years old. It's not certain how he lived so long, whether it's through Snow Elf biology or through a blessing from Auriel himself or another god, we can't know. Snow Elves are now a rare breed, and there are rumors that other survivors may exist, scattered throughout Tamriel, but most of their proud civilization has been lost to time, with the majority of their race twisted into the vile, vicious creatures that are the Falmer. The Snow Elves' influence over Skyrim may be pretty much eradicated, but the knowledge of their history and culture still remains. Here are 5 facts about the Snow Elves. Fact number 1. Despite the hatred towards the elves you see in Skyrim today, the Snow Elves actually coexisted peacefully with the first Atmoran colonies established in Skyrim by Ysgramor. Besides the Dwemer, who also came to settle in Skyrim, the Snow Elves were the only Mer, or elves, to settle in what is now the land of the Nords. The Atmorans came later on, and this is all going down in the Merethic era. There was a comfortable relationship between men and Snow Elves, but this peace was actually short-lived. The Snow Elves decided to attack the humans, destroying the rapidly growing settlement of Sarthal, which you can actually visit in Skyrim yourself. This event became known as the Night of Tears, and the reasons for the attack aren't fully known. Some speculate that the Snow Elves attacked due to the high speeds at which the Nord population was growing, as it caused a struggle for resources and territorial dominance. Others claim it was because Nord settlers uncovered a rare and potent artifact buried deep beneath the city. All the humans in Sarthal were decimated by the Snow Elves, except for Ysgramor and his 2 sons, who swore to remove the Snow Elves from the face of Skyrim eternally. Ysgramor returned to Atmora, raised his army of 500 companions, and came back and raised hell against the Snow Elves. This is ultimately what led to the Snow Elves' demise and their dealings with the Dwemer, which brings us to fact number 2. Fact number 2. While it is widely claimed that the Dwemer betrayed the Snow Elves by forcing them to eat a toxic fungus that inflicted blindness, this is not entirely the case. This wasn't something unexpected by the Snow Elves. In fact, they knew exactly what they were getting into. So after Ysgramor came back and started kicking the Snow Elves to the curb, there was a whole ton of bloodshed, and the Snow Elves retreated to the island of Solstheim, where they took a final stand against the Nordic people, inspired by their leader known as the Snow Prince. This was called the Battle of Mosring, and the Snow Prince was defeated, after which there was a huge genocidal campaign against the Snow Elves, which wiped thousands of them from existence. With their race facing extinction, they turned to the Dwemer. This is where people get things mixed up. What actually happens is that the Dwemer agree to keep the Snow Elves safe underground. However, for their safe passage into living underground, the Snow Elves had to eat a toxic fungus from Blackreach. Therefore, while the Snow Elves were technically forced to consume the toxin due to their circumstance, they did agree to the terms and conditions. Some Snow Elves didn't agree and sought out alternative methods of staying alive, and the Dwemer allowed them to do this, but most of these elves either died by the sword of the Nords, disappeared, or came back to the Dwemer and agreed to their terms. Also, the toxin didn't quickly de-evolve the Snow Elves to the twisted Falmer that they are now. The process happened very gradually as time passed, so the full effects and consequences of living underground and consuming this toxin were not really obvious to the Snow Elves. What was obvious, however, was that the toxin inflicted blindness, so the price of their safety that they knew about was extremely high. This blindness effect carried on to the Snow Elves' offspring, and then it was years later when the Dwemer actually betrayed them by enslaving their race. So what happened to the Snow Elves next? Fact number 3. What many people don't know is there was actually a massive rebellion by the Snow Elves in a huge war called the Wall of Crag. This bloody war between Snow Elves and Dwemer waged on underground for decades, out of sight of Skyrim surface dwellers. Then, however, one day when the Snow Elves went to battle against the Dwemer, as usual, their masters had disappeared from their underground home. The mysterious vanishing of the Dwemer set the Snow Elves free, and this led them to spread far and wide underground in places like Blackreach. That said, the Snow Elves had devolved more and more over time, and eventually became the Falmer you see when you play Skyrim. Bloodthirsty and crazed, with a desperate desire to reconquer the world and get back at those who caused them so much suffering. Fact number 4 is about religion. The Snow Elves worshipped quite an interesting group of different gods and deities. In their pantheon, the main players are Auriel, Trinomac, Ciribane, Ifri, and Fynaster. Many people haven't even heard of these gods before, so I'll give you a brief bit of info on each. You can do further research for all the details if you want them. Put simply, Auriel is also known as Akatosh, which is a god many people actually are familiar with. In the Snow Elf pantheon, Auriel was the most important god to worship. The Chantry of Auriel, which you actually visit in the Dawnguard DLC, was known as the core place of Snow Elf religion. Here there were many rituals that those seeking Auriel's enlightenment could take part in. The Snow Elves saw Trinomac as the greatest knight of Auriel, who protected the ancient Aldma from the armies of men. Trinomac was defeated by Boethia in battle, however, leading him to become Malakath. Sirabane is the Aldmeri god ancestor of magic, and was a favorite of the Mages Guild's youth, and is known for aiding Bendu Olo, the Colovian king of Anvil, in the fall of the Slode. He's also known for saving many from the Thracian plague, using his magical ring. Fynaster is a deity who also has a ring, which you can actually get your hands on in Elder Scrolls 3, Morrowind. He's one of the Aldmar who is commonly known to have become a god. Finally, we have Ifri, the god of the forest, who is actually most popularly worshipped by the Bosmer. I find it very interesting that the Snow Elves also devoted worship to him. Finally, we have fact number 5. The Snow Elves, who are now Falmerili, could actually return and become a surface-dwelling race once again. According to the Snow Elf Knight Paladin Gelebor, who you talk to in the Dawnguard DLC, he says that the Falmer are becoming more intelligent constantly, and that he believes that if a line of communication could be established, relations could improve. He also hopes that one day they'll stop their hateful ways, however, perhaps he's being a bit too hopeful. He is over 4,000 years old though, and he is a Snow Elf who knows lots of the Falmer, so we take what he says pretty seriously. When it comes to evidence of their intelligence growing, there have been reports of increasingly organized and well-planned surface raids performed by them, where they successfully attack areas that have resources like cattle and crops for food, and they even kidnap civilians. The Falmer are no longer remaining quiet in the Dwarven ruins like they have done for centuries, and even if you look at their societies underground, you can see higher signs of intelligence at work. They've been able to domesticate deadly creatures such as the Chorus and Skeevers of Blackreach, who they actually herd as livestock from one place to another in a nomadic fashion. They also build sturdy infrastructure from chitin-like materials, and obviously due to their Snow Elf genetics, they are very gifted when it comes to using magic, which could lead them to potentially use arcane means of improving their society further. Currently, they construct most of their architecture from giant subterranean arthropods and other species of giant insects and scorpion-like creatures. They've even been able to tame frostbite spiders, and they're experts when it comes to understanding alchemy. They harvest a lot of poisons and poison ingredients from their livestock, all without being able to see as well due to their blindness. They also appear to build farms near their living areas with their livestock placed in small pens. However, they don't have large-scale planned agriculture due to their aforementioned nomadic ways. Subscribe to Fudge Muppet to get more Skyrim videos like this, and like the video if you learned something new or just enjoyed our presentation. We really enjoy making these videos, and we'd love to hear from you if you think the Falmer or the Snow Elves will be making a return. Thanks so much for watching this far. You guys mean the world to us for doing so, and I look forward to nerding out with you again in a new video very soon.